Hey everyone, this is Ryan Gomez. See, ultimately it's your story and your message that helps you filter through all that chaos and all that noise that happens out there. It is the connection that is made through your story and your message that helps you stand out and helps individuals pick you over the rest, or pick your product over the rest, if you want to put it that way. And that's why story marketing, story branding is the most powerful thing. Again, helps you stand out head and shoulders above the rest. If you want to build a powerful customer base, if you want to build a powerful brand, if you want to create multiple streams of income, then you've got to be able to tell powerful stories. You've got to be able to connect with individuals and bring that message out. And believe me, everyone has a story and a message in them. It's about how you dig deep down and you bring that story out and that message and you connect with individuals. Here's a webinar I did around the globe a few weeks ago where I'm talking about why and how storytelling is so powerful. The webinar goes for about an hour and a half. I'm only going to play the first 10 minutes that gives you an idea why it's important or why storytelling is such a key to be able to create a powerful brand. So have a look through this and sit through the next 10 minutes and see how powerful storytelling can be. And create your story, bring that message across, and ultimately create a powerful brand, create multiple streams of income. How many of you remember Howard Schwartz? You know, Howard was brought up in Brooklyn, New York, in an average family. And he went to school, he played football, and he loved football. So he then ended up getting a scholarship because he played football for about 4 years or so. And he was the only one in his family to actually get a higher education and go to university, as a matter of fact. And he got out of school, or he got out of university, if I can put it that way, and then he ended up getting into direct sales and working a few positions, a few jobs down the track, and ended up being a sales director for one organization that sold coffee machines, a Swedish company that sold coffee machines. And they sold a lot of coffee machines to this one client in Seattle. And Howard was, he wanted to go down and meet this one client of his that bought a lot of coffee machines from the company. So he went down to Seattle, and when he landed, the first time he landed you get that feeling, isn't it, when you land in a place and you feel, wow, this is the place I want to be in. This is the place I really want to be in. You know, the ambience, it really draws you in. So Howard felt like that. And when Howard then went down to this one coffee shop that bought a lot of coffee machines from him, he saw that the owners, the way they looked after the customers, the way they roasted the beans, the ambience of the place was fantastic, it was fabulous. And he loved everything about that place. That one place was called Starbucks. If you haven't put it together, Howard is now currently the CEO and chairman of Starbucks. How did that happen? Let me tell you. So Howard then pursued and wanted to work for Starbucks. So he went down to the owners and tried to convince the owners that, hey, you know what, I want to work for you. But the owners weren't convinced enough. It took them over a year to be convinced and hire Howard. Howard then joined him as the sales director for Starbucks, this one coffee shop, Starbucks. And they shipped him off to Italy to get some new ideas and bring some new innovation along. So Howard then traveled to Italy, and when he was walking down the streets in Italy, he saw that almost every street had a coffee shop. There were coffee shops all over the place, and he couldn't believe this. He said to himself, how can one drink so much of coffee? And as he's walking along, he went into some of the shops, and he realized that it was a business away from business. It was a place where people went and met one another. People met family, met friends, read a newspaper, have a cup of coffee, just relax, take it easy sometimes, and spend that time. So it was the coffee shops created that atmosphere for individuals to come there. And Howard said, hey, I got it. So he went back to Seattle and he said to the owners, you know what? Great concept. Let's take this globally. Let's make this happen globally. Let's open up franchises. Let's take this concept. It's a great concept and people are going to love this. But the owners of Starbucks said, you know what? We are happy with just 1 or 2 stores around in Seattle. We don't want to grow. We don't want to expand. And Howard then left and went down the street and he opened up his own coffee shop, Gionale. It was so successful that in a year's time, he ended up coming back to Starbucks and buying up Starbucks for $3.8 million. $3.8 million. The rest is just history. You know, Starbucks today has about 18,000 plus franchises around the globe. They're in about 54 countries around the world. They're constantly winning awards for their customer service. They're constantly winning awards for the way they make their coffees, the ambience, the ambience they create for people. You know, and it is mainly due to this person, and that is Howard Schwartz. Howard built this from ground up through this whole story itself. Now, we use Starbucks. I don't drink much coffee, but I use Starbucks probably. We use Starbucks as a noun, isn't it? Sometimes when you need to get a coffee, what do we say? I only drink maybe 1 or 2 coffees a day. We say, hey, let's go and have a Starbucks. So we use it as a noun, isn't it? Because how Howard created this is he said, we are not in the business of selling coffee to people. We are in the people business, serving coffee. And that's the power behind it. And that is the power behind storytelling. And this is what I want to talk to you about today, is the power of storytelling. Now, storytelling goes out to centuries and centuries back again, back where individuals understood stories. Individuals love stories. The brain adapts to stories. And every story has a message around it. Why is it that individuals connect with stories? Why is stories so powerful? If you see some of the biggest brands in the world today, some of the biggest organizations, some of the greatest leaders in the world are the greatest storytellers, and they've created through storytelling. I can name a few companies like Apple today, Nike, some of the great brands that have created this brand, this powerful brand around it through storytelling. And why is stories so powerful? What makes stories so powerful? So, if you look at, if you download the sheet I've given you online, you can actually look through a lot of what I'm talking about here. Now, if you look at stories itself, and why stories are so powerful, some of the simple facts is, why do people buy? Why do people buy something? Why do people take action on something? Why do people remember and implement on something? It's because of the power of stories. Also, if you want people to take action, you have to emotionally connect with them. You have to emotionally connect with them. If you want to make a point, if you want to sell a product, if you want to sell an idea, if you want to sell an innovation, at the end of the day, it comes down to this one thing, is about telling stories, because stories connect with individuals. When you look at, I was fascinated when I was looking at some of the online, I was doing some research online, and I was looking at some of the powerful emotions. So there's 20 plus powerful emotions out there that is out there. And out of the 20 plus powerful emotions, they've come down to about 5 emotions. So they've scaled it down to the 5 most powerful emotions in a human being. And some of the most powerful emotions are love, pride, guilt, greed, and guess what came up as number 1, the most powerful emotion? I want you to take a guess, and a lot of you are guessing right now, thinking, what is that? What is that one powerful emotion? That one powerful emotion was fear. 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 It is said that in animals, our scientific research again says animals, number one powerful emotion, the animals only have this emotion called fear. So anything we do is fear, isn't it? If we want to buy something today, we want to be able to invest in something, there's always this fear emotion. And you know how this works is, and again, from scientific researches, you have these 4 emotions I talk about, which you saw, that sits on top of your brain up here, so sits right up at the top. But the fear emotion sits at the back of the brain, just up here. And it is sending messages through the spine, and it's the first to send the messages through the spine. So before the other emotions can get to your spine, fear emotion is already sending wires and messages into your spine, through you, and giving you the message. And that's why people, the number one thing in emotion today, and it's said, is fear, because anything we do, we always fear the fact, should we do this, should we do that, should we invest in that, should we get into this business, should we do that? So, everything is around fear. And it is said that in order to get through that fear emotion, the most powerful way of doing it is through story.